This is Q.i.Q, the question in question. Brought to you by TherapyBites Art Lab. Here to take a bite out of modern-day pseudo-psychological psycho-malarkey. Now entering the Art Lab studio, today's T-Ballers, a collection of fellow strugglers, confronting personal challenges, navigating precarious relationships, and tackling trauma. Humans like each of us, juggling difficult human emotions, each here with unique life experiences, lived stories, and questions we'll bite into that just might help you too. And now, entering the Art Lab studio for the 9,880th time is the host of TherapyBites Q.i.Q, Doc Heath.
Have my mic unmuted again. Hey, QiQers, thank you for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed your little slice of freedom for Independence Day, at least in the States, July the 4th, Independence Day. And we thank you guys for bearing with us because we did take a break from last Tuesday. But we're glad to be back with you guys today, and we have some cool prizes for those that join the show live. I'm sorry, but if you don't join the show live, you can't get the prizes, but you can still get the education. And let's go to our board and see what we have in store. The board doesn't change, so the questions do. We have Couch Crumbs quotes, and one of my favorite quotes is on deck next. Creature feature, which is how we teach about some psychological concepts that are hard to understand but important to know. Social media smackdown. Yes, we challenge some of the nonsense in social media and try to share some accurate things. The FFTC is, of course, fresh from the therapy couch, and we like to share out real struggles that people have sent in to us and said, hey, can you guys talk about this? And we do. If you have a real struggle that you think that could benefit others hearing about, then please let us know about that. Couch Crumbs, which is our newsletter. Hey, that's coming out on Friday. If you guys want to get your free copy of our Couch Crumbs newsletter, then all you need to do is text your email address to 870, that's in the States. I'm sorry, it's just for the States. If you want it and you're out of the States, then you can just email us, therapybites@yahoo.com, therapybites@yahoo.com, therapybites@yahoo.com. And we'll be glad to put you in our email fam. Neuro, also called Psych Secrets. We like to share out some neuroscience-y things. And the first item is going to come from Couch Crumbs quotes, and that is for 400 Psy coins. Now, for you new guys and gals, youngsters, what is a Psy coin? Well, that is something, a way of tallying up wins, and you can redeem those like a token for cool merchandise, t-shirts, hats, stickers, things like that. But here's the first item, and let's go to our timer. And I will drag this over to the screen. You can see we're on the air, right? Isn't that cool? I got a new sign on the air. I've had it a few weeks, and I just think it's cool. I'm a guy. I love gizmos and knickknacks. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. And as you can see on the board, you got about another 36 seconds in counting down to answer that one. But what a cool quote. If you want to see a change in the world, be that change. Draw a circle on the ground, step inside of it. Make sure that you start changing things inside the circle first. But people don't want to do that. They want to change everybody else. They want to change what you call them, and they want to change, the pronouns that you use, and they want to change how you share your opinion and perspective with them. Everybody seems to be in, let's change everybody else. But, not me. I need to change myself first, and I'm sure some of you out there in social media land can make some recommendations. I'd be glad to hear those. I'll take them under advisement. We don't have your proper responses just yet, and so we will go to the proper response is Hey, thanks, William. Hey, thank you for being here. William's always a faithful listener, watcher, viewer of Q.i.Q. And what are values? Actually, answer, you must be the change you wish to see in the world, is a quote. It's Couch Comes Quotes. And the proper response, and I'll just go ahead and put that up on the board because it is a cool thing to look at. And it is... who's Mahatma Gandhi? Well, I remember watching Gandhi my freshman year in college. I think I actually skipped a couple classes to watch the whole 3-hour movie. But it was fantabulous. Of course, Gandhi was a peace activist. He was also an attorney. I mean, look at what he gave up. Gave up just this huge career to change the world. Let's go back to the board. And this item is going to come from Creature Feature. For 200 Psy-Coins, I'll put that on the board. We'll take a break as we usually do. And hint, hint, this is a combo. And I will put it up now. Without further delay. It's in the chat. You guys take a look at it. We'll be right back after this.
You are a fellow human struggling with difficult emotions, a fracturing relationship, parenting problem, mental health difficulty, have a psychotherapy from hell story to tell, or a challenging life experience question, and would like to share your story by stepping up to bat as a T-baller. Either register by texting Q.i.Q to 1-870-686-4196 and join our Therapy Bites community, or send a postcard with your name, address, phone number, email address, and age to the address on the screen. Therapy Bites, Q.i.Q, P.O. Box 1391, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403, 1391.
And believe it or not, yes, that is a real P.O. Box. We'd love to have, don't you love P.O. Boxes? We want to encourage people to get back to some old-fashioned habits, like just writing things out on a piece of paper, putting them in an envelope, or putting them on a postcard. How cool is that? Go get some postcards. Just send us one of them. If you have a question you'd like for us to tackle, we would love to tackle that for you. William says that the answer to this one, I put his response up. I should put the item up. Believing you can predict the future and it's not looking good. And hint, 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 this is a combo, and it's also our T-ball. I hit the wrong timer, didn't I? That is not the correct timer. Pardon me, folks. We already had enough time during the break, and we're talking about postcards. Yeah, send us one. You can send us one celebrating our anniversary of the Therapy Bites podcast, which will be 1 year this October. But you don't got to wait till then. We always love having postcards. But believing that you can predict the future, hint, hint, is fortune telling. And it's not going to be good, so you're catastrophizing. So it's really a double dose, a combo of cognitive distortions called fortune telling and catastrophize. Let's go back to the board, and this particular item is going to come from Social Media Smackdown, and it is for 400 Psy-Coins, and we'll pop that up there and pull it up on the board when I get over to the right screen and give you guys a chance to think about it. These social media personalities are seen as having some form of authority just because they're able to accrue a large following. Evidently, in our world, we believe that if you've got a few million people following you, then you must know what you're talking about. Hey, there was once a guy back in the 40s that had a few million people following him, and they thought that he knew what he was talking about. And then what happened? World War II. Just because you have a large following on social media doesn't mean that you can speak with authority on every area. We should stay in our lane. I don't know really anything at all about diesel mechanics, dermatology, proctology. Thank goodness for that one. No offense to my proctologist colleagues. But I tell people, look, I just take care of things from the earlobes up. Maybe I should say the ear canal up. It's just brain only. I don't know anything about all that other stuff, so we should stand our lane. But what would be the proper response there? I'll put it up on the board for you. And it is called, some of you already guessed it. And some of these folks are really, really good. They come up with some great ideas, but sometimes not so much. What is an influencer? Just because you get the title or someone has the title of an influencer doesn't mean they can be relied upon. Gosh, that's right over my face, isn't it? Doesn't mean they can be relied upon to tell you correct things about managing your life. Consider the source, my dad used to say. And let's go back to the board. And this is going to come from, fresh from the therapy couch. I'll drop in the chat. We'll have another bit of a break while you guys consider the answer here. This is one of the things I learned early on. And it's just, it's not a cool condition, but it's a cool word. And there it is. Having a constant urge to pull your hair out. Speaking of which, we'll be right back so I don't pull mine out.
If you plan on being in the local area of your podcast player app and would like complimentary tickets to the TherapyBites Q.i.Q Art Lab studio audience, please search TherapyBites on your device and just smash that subscribe button. Your complimentary ticket grants you access to alerts so you'll never miss a show.
And we're back. We don't have proper responses just yet, and so I'm going to go ahead and put it here just so you don't have to stumble through my southern accent and get it properly pronounced. But what is trichotillomania? My dad would call that a $7 word. Trichotillomania. See, there's 7 syllables. $7 word. It's not a very well discussed condition. I joke that every parent has it because what parent doesn't want to pull their hair out sometimes? But it's actually a type of obsessive compulsive disorder, but it's still thought based. A big thing with thoughts, folks, is one of the best things you can do is stop trying to change a thought or stop a thought. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean you need to put shoe leather on that thought. You can safely have a thought and do nothing. One of the big tricks to mental health is learning how to have a thought and then do nothing with it. That's what the brain does. As we often say in the art lab, the brain manufactures thoughts the way snowstorms manufacture snowflakes. And just because you have a thought doesn't mean anything needs to be done with it. Let's go back to the picker final item from Psych Secrets, which we title Neuro because why? Well, we don't have room for Psych Secrets. But maybe I could scrunch it up like Creature Feature. Maybe that would look better. And this is the answer. We'll take a break and see if you T-ballers, TherapyBites Art Labbers, can come up with a proper response in the form of a question, and we'll be right back after this.
Premier accommodations for our T-Ball contributors provided electronically by the luxurious Art Lab Studio, overlooking the steaming cesspool of pseudo-psychological social media psychomalarkey and located in cyberspace on your favorite podcast hosting platform, where we invite you to the most psychomalogically thrilling podcast in town, while you feast on our award-winning psychologically nutritious buffet of TherapyBites cuisine, conscientiously cooked up by your hard-working T-Ball team chefs.
And we're back, and I'm going to drag this on the screen. Since I gave you time to think about it, it was in the chat, I'll put it up here. But it's a brain state that seems like autopilot where you do things without thinking about them. Think about walking. You don't really think left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Think about talking. You really don't think about how you're manufacturing, what's really left side of my brain, right? How you're manufacturing these words from this temporal lobe part of your brain. You really don't think about walking, chewing gum at the same time, or eating. All those are pretty implicit processes. You do that without putting any conscious thought into it. Now, is that a bad thing? Well, no, that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. I mean, you don't want to walk around thinking about walking all the time. But mindfulness is something that can help us switch a way that the brain has of operating. Kind of toggling back and forth is really, really important. And yeah, it's kind of a complicated term, but I'm going to put this up on the board, and you guys, I encourage you to do some research into it. And if you're not into mindfulness, look that up. If you want some resources, please reach out. It's no charge, just reach out. We're glad to share information. But the proper response here, the proper question is, what is the default mode network? The default mode network is responsible for mind wandering, daydreaming, things like that. But that's to oversimplify it. What's really going on is your brain is planning what's next. Your brain is a what's next engine. What's next? Think of walking. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. The brain has to decide what foot is next, or you'll trip over your own feet and fall all over yourself. What's next, what's next, what's next? There's no problem with that unless that's the only thing your brain does. What that default mode network doesn't do is live in the moment. And it is so important to train your brain to be able to switch set from default mode, what's next, what's next, what's next, or, thinking about what happened 20, 30 years ago, so you can then plan out what to do next about that. But to teach your brain to be present in the moment. And of course, this is the point of mindfulness. And I think we'll probably do some audios on that and pop up on YouTube. If you want the raw cut that I did, probably, gosh, it's been over 20 years ago. It's a really old recording, but it's an oldie but a goodie. Send me an email or send me a text, 1-870-686-4196. Drop your email address. I'll be glad to package that audio up and send it to you. And it is a self-hypnosis audio. And we'll be doing some other audios to help you guys out with this. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We will be back Saturday morning, 9 a.m. U.S. time, Central Standard Time, Memphis, Chicago time, for Executive Espresso. Caffeinated conversations with me, Doc Heath, on business, relationships, and life. And we look forward to seeing you guys then. Thanks for joining us.
Next time on TherapyBites Art Lab Q.i.Q, Doc Heath and T-Ball callers face off against steaming piles of pseudo-psychological psychomalarkey directly from your favorite social media platforms, or perhaps from the psychotherapy couch of a pill-pushing, emotion-demonizing, bobble-headed, woo-woo clinician who fed their kooky Kool-Aid to you. This is Art Potto speaking. TherapyBites Q.i.Q is a Dr. I'm a Floyd Knot production. Distributed by the TherapyBites Art Lab Podcast.